Okay, so welcome back to another edition of the Nerdcast. My name is Daniel, and on today's episode, we have none other than Chelsea Thompson.
Hey guys!
She's here with us again tonight.
Woohoo!
I love it when you're here.
I know, I felt so bad. I missed last week's interview that will be going up, I think, on Halloween.
Yes, actually, it's going to go up on Friday.
I was stuck out on a field trip and did not make it back in time.
Yes. And on tonight's episode, we have Jordan from 33 Games.
Hey, guys.
And Logan from 33 Games as well.
Hello.
Now, my microphone or my headset, for some reason, has cut out for audio, which is odd.
That is odd.
I don't know what's going on right now.
You can't hear what we're saying right now.
Too many cables to keep straight.
Yeah. All right.
Can you
Better?
hear us? Nope.
Yeah, okay. So anyways, you are listening to your number one source for all things geeky, nerdy here in the city of Edmonton. And we are super excited because we have 33 Games joining us today. And yeah, this is going to be an awesome show. I'm super pumped for this.
We're happy to be here.
Anyways, I like to start every week off by asking everybody how their week was. So I'm going to ask you guys, how was your week? So we'll start with Jordan here.
Me? Can you hear us now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
You can hear us now? Okay, good. How was my week? My week's been really, really good. It's just getting started. Today's Monday? Say Monday?
Yeah.
Today's Monday. Much. I was just watching episode 2 of Westworld, so that's pretty much been my whole week.
Man, you're behind the times.
Yeah.
I've heard the 3rd episode is out.
Yeah, last night.
I am. That is one show I have yet to start watching because
What?
I am so far behind on everything else I got on my queue.
Oh man.
I have. Well, if you're familiar with our family situation, I have 2 kids at home. I have the podcast. I got events and all sorts of crazy things happening all week.
You GM our lovely Star Wars D&D.
I GM a Star Wars D&D.
Nice.
It is. I live a crazy life.
Full of nerdiness.
House. It is. It is very full of nerdiness, and I absolutely love every second of it. So it's absolutely fantastic. But yeah, Westworld is one that I have on my list, and it will be one that I'll be picking up here soon.
It's a good thing. It's awesome.
That's what I keep hearing.
Mm-hmm.
So Logan, how's your week been so far?
Well, pretty good. Been playing a lot of Axiom Verge, which is great.
Yep.
A game that it's like one of my like big pile of like games on Steam that I've been like I bought it when it came out or whatever, and then it's sort of like yes, I'll play you soon, and then like a year later it's like okay, fine. I like we launched our game and now I have like time for me again. It's time to like play some of the backlog.
It's time to start checking those boxes off. Okay,
yeah.
Got that one. Oh, I see there's 0 hours underneath that.
Yeah, it's I've been enjoying that. I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of early in the week. Otherwise, it's I'm having a normal kind of week, full of normal stuff. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, so Chelsea, how's your week?
My week's been pretty good so far. Yeah, last week was all right. Like I said, I got stuck out on a field trip. Didn't make it to our last recording. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, it's been pretty good. I played a soccer game last night. We kind of got our butts kicked, but it was still pretty fun. It's just a rec league, so nobody's too serious about it. But it's good. One of the girls I work with has played on this team for a few seasons, and I subbed for them at the end of their summer session. And she was like, "We don't have a regular goalie. You should come play for us all the time." So I was like, sure, and joined up. I haven't played in a few years, it's really nice to get back to it. So that's good. Yeah.
Awesome.
Now I'm back for the Nerdcast tonight. Woohoo.
Yes, I'm so happy you're back. Yeah, I had to do like you said, I had to do the interview with Ramen for Extra Life there, and yeah, it turned out really great. But there's something always missing every time that you don't show up. So it's good. So I'm very excited because on Friday we will be having a special episode come out on Friday for Extra Life. It's going to be exciting. Super pumped about that. I think Chelsea is probably dropping out on us. Just from the look on her face is stuck there. So anyways, that's what's happening.
I'm back.
Oh, there she is. Oh,
Yeah, I'm back.
You had my heart stop there for a minute. So anyways, I'd like to say a little bit about my week. It's been pretty good so far. Like I said, we had the interview with Ramen. But I also got a chance to go on Saturday to go to IntrigueCon. And that is a role-playing RPG convention that's here in Edmonton. I only got to go for one session. I had 2 more Thanksgiving dinners on the weekend. So on Saturday and Sunday, I had more Thanksgiving I had to get done. But I had a good round of Shadowrun. That's the game I got to play at IntrigueCon, and it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I really loved the kind of setting that it had. It's set in, I think, 2076, which is not too far from right now. But what happened is magic kind of came back, and so they've added this whole element of technology and magic have kind of layered on top of each other. And so it's an interesting world that they live in. Yeah. I played a guy who had a sword. He didn't say a whole lot, but he got his job done, and it was a lot of fun. I don't get to play too much, considering I GM the one we do all the time. So it was kind of nice to actually sit down and actually play an RPG here.
Nice.
Yeah. Aside from that, what else? I had one other thing I'd like to talk about. Oh, we got invited back to go to, hang on, where's my notes? To SideQuest. So on Wednesday, I'm going back, or no, Thursday, sorry. We're going back to SideQuest to try another escape room. So stay tuned on our little review for that one, because I'm super excited because I love escape rooms, and the last one was really good. And so I want to see if we can bust out of this one. We're taking extra firepower this time. Last time we did it with 4. We're doing it with 6 this time.
Nice.
And yeah, let's see if we can bust out of this room. I'm pretty stoked for that.
Nice. What was the last one you did?
The last one was at SideQuest as well, and it was called Uncle.
Okay.
And what happened is you had this crazy uncle, and you had to find out what he was up to.
He loved conspiracy theories,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, a conspiracy theorist, right? Yeah, so you had to kind of go through all his stuff and try to figure out what was going on. It was very interesting. I really liked it, and I liked the way that they had it set up because it's under a point system. And so basically, what it kind of comes down to is like if you don't ask for help, you basically I don't know how to explain it better.
Get the most points when you finish.
Yeah, so you get more points when you finish if you don't ask for help.
Okay.
Every time you do ask for help, it takes away from your total. So you may be able to finish the room, but your total gets lower and lower. So I kind of like that because it kind of pushed us not to ask for help too much.
Totally.
But it was really good. I like the people who run the place as well because they kind of get into character a little bit more than some of the other escape rooms I've been to. They really play it up a little bit more, which was kind of fun. So it's good.
Nice.
So I'm excited to go back and try out the other room that they have. I'm not sure which room it is yet. I think I have been told what it was, but I did not write it down. So it'll be fun. Very excited. And the other thing I'm getting ready for is, well, I'm getting ready for two things. So one thing I've been doing a lot of planning for is our new RPG, because we started RPG a long time ago for Star Wars, and now it kind of
what did we figure 6-8 months ago?
Yeah, something like that. So we kind of finished it. We ended it. We had a whole lot of people join in over the course of the last little while. I think we're up to 13 members in our group there. And so we had quite a few people kind of come in, and so we decided to do a kind of a clean slate. We're building a whole brand new world for this one. It's going to be a lot of fun. All new characters. Everyone's all pumped about it. I'm getting a lot of text messages constantly about their characters and what's happening. So it's going to be a good time. That's going to be on Friday. So I've been trying to get a whole session made up for everybody by that time. And the other thing is this little thing that's down here. This is Extra Life. I've been raising money for Extra Life, which is going all to the Stollery. That's happening on the November 5th. And so that is what I've been doing. So far I've raised $95. My goal is 500. I did hit that last year. So I'm expecting to hit that again this year. So I'm really pumped. I'd love to beat that goal by quite a bit, but we'll see how that goes. Yeah. And this year it's going to be at West Edmonton Mall. So
that's really exciting.
I'm super pumped for this. Like I said, I had this interview with Ramen the other day, and my goodness, some of the stuff that they got planned, super exciting. So if you're out there watching or listening to this episode, and you're interested in taking part in an Extra Life challenge, which is like 24 hours of gaming, which is actually not true, because I found out that Extra Life is happening on November 5th, which is actually
daylight
savings time. So it's 25 hours of gaming.
They're really packing it in there that's fan service right there.
Yeah, so an extra hour. So I'll be streaming a lot of that on that day too. So it's gonna be fun. So, yeah. Anyways, that's pretty much everything I have kind of up in the front. We'll have a lot more events that are happening in the city a little bit later on in the episode. But tonight we have Jordan and Logan from 33 Games joining us tonight. And so we want to talk a little bit about their game that they released and some of the stuff that they're up to. So let's start off with you guys by just simply asking, what game did you guys create here?
So the game is called RunGunJumpGun, and it has been most flatteringly called Flappy Meat Boy. It's like a run and gun kind of game where it's automatic runner, and you can either shoot forward or shoot down. When you're shooting down, you fly, kind of like a jetpack, sort of rocket jump kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And that's it. That's the controls. It's quite difficult. We really that's the Meat Boy part of it. We're quite like, I would say, like inspired by like Super Meat Boy, Hotline Miami, VVV, sort of these like really difficult like retro games. And so basically it was kind of like, could we make something like that would, feel like one of those experiences? Like it's hard, it's challenging, each level's unique, all this stuff, but like it'll also work on a phone. So yeah, that's I don't know, that's the essential idea of the game.
Yeah, I'd say that about sums it up. Works well on a phone.
Works well on a phone.
You can play it on the go.
So let me ask you guys, where did the concept for Run Gun Jump Gun come from? Like sorry.
So it's like the stupidest like napkin idea, basically. Like it was,
we love stories like that. Do it. Tell us all about it.
So it was Matt, Jordan, and I. Matt's the third guy. He's not here tonight. All met working at a company called Six and Stones, marketing company. Kind of like, it's the same kind of skill sets needed to do that kind of media as games. So it was sort of a good place for everyone to meet up. But basically, Matt and I left at the same time. Me to go work at an augmented reality company part-time, him to do freelance. And so we were kind of like, both had the idea of like working on games and stuff. And we basically were thinking like, let's make like a goodbye card for like Jordan and the rest of the guys still at Sticks. So it's like, originally it was going to be like, it's like, we'll put their faces on it and then they'll be able to shoot each other. It'll be hilarious. And then, like we'll do it in a week. And so we're sitting in Matt's basement. We're eating a vegan pizza because that's what we do. It's like once a week we would like go and we would like make a pizza and then talk about games. And so we're sitting in his basement and, he's saying, okay, we're going to make this game. Let's just make like sort of a dumb running gunny shooter kind of thing. And like me being a contrarian, I'm like, but no, we must do something unique and novel for the masses. Can't just like make another samey game. And so Matt's kind of like, okay, what if when you shoot down, you fly like a jetpack? And I was like, sold, done. That's enough. Novelty requirement achieved.
That's the hook.
Started working on this like flippant sort of whatever idea. And then I was like, oh, this is actually kind of fun. Like, might be an actual game. So we were like, rescinded, no coworker spaces, not a present, too valuable. And then, so at that point, we were kind of like, okay, cat's out of the bag, gotta end this charade. Like, Jordan, we're making a secret game that's not secret anymore because it's not for you anymore. Come do the audio on it. And they're right. And that's basically how we got going.
And then the rest is history then.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
long sordid history.
So you guys just decided like we need to start a company for this. Like, is that how it was? Like,
we kind of always knew there was going to have to be a company, but it's one of these things that we like put off as long as possible. And it wasn't until we got greenlit on Steam, and they're like, "What's your corporate bank account number?" And we're like, "Oh, we have to do it. We have to do it for real now. Oh no!" And then we did it, and it was a hassle. Now we're a federal corporation.
It's all fancy like. So let me ask you, like, some of the concepts are like frantic pace and like this really thumping, pounding music. Like, what inspired you guys to use that kind of thing for this kind of a game?
I feel like Hotline Miami kind of is responsible. Like, we could say something more complicated, but the only honest answer is like, we just really liked Hotline Miami. It was a really good game. And there was something like really hypnotic about that kind of game where it's like you can imagine putting on a pair of headphones and just getting lost in it. And that sort of reminded us of like old arcade games and why that was cool. So I think, yeah, the artistic answer is like we love old arcade games, and the honest answer is Hotline Miami is great.
And we're like intentionally like, how much can we rip it off?
Yeah, like
to what extent can we?
Yeah.
Let's take everything we like about Hotline Miami, which is almost everything, and then steal as much as we can.
Mm-hmm. Take it, all of it.
So, if you ever play, like I'm talking to maybe people out there who may be watching this show, if you ever play this game, why did you guys make this thing so punishing?
Yeah, Logan can take credibility for that.
So, I mean, it was kind of funny. Like the game evolved a lot over the course of the design of it. When it started out, it was going to be maybe like more slow paced and sort of like laborious, and like the tiles changed and there were complex rules and you had to understand the world and blah, 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 blah. And then we just sort of like, I don't know. I'm a big believer that like how you get something fun is that you make it and then you show it to people and see if they like it or not. And then you just iterate on that horribly for just months and months and months. And it kind of turned out that the funnest moments weren't all these like complicated interactions, and it wasn't like the slow gameplay. It was like when we sped it up and we made lots of spikes. And so it's sort of like, I mean, it doesn't hurt that I quite enjoy quite a few of those sort of like Twitch kind of games that are just like hard, fast, colorful. But really, like, I would say, we didn't set out to make that. And it just sort of like, that's what the game wanted to be. with the mechanics we chose and how it works and how they fit together, like at least for us, like for something that like we found fun, or maybe I found fun most of all because I like these games the best. And I'm the programmer, so everyone has to do what I say.
It's true.
I mean, it was what it came down to was it was most fun that way, and so we did it. And then we would kind of like waffle about it. We're like, is it too hard? Should we make an easier game? And then we'd like double down, like, no, we're making a hard game. And then we're like, some people would be like, it's too hard, I can't do it. And then we're like, okay, well, we'll make it a little easier, and we'll figure out, basically make sure that like
trying to balance that out a little bit more.
Yeah. And it's funny though, because I think we to a degree succeeded, because like quite a lot of people that like they'll preface like talking about the game and be like, okay, normally I don't like these kinds of games, but I liked it. And that was kind of nice to hear. Like, I think that we sort of hit a bit of a sweet spot in sort of like something that is like simple enough and you can learn it, and it's tough, but in a sort of a fair, sort of approachable way.
So now, who in your lives were the guinea pigs that got the precious sneak peeks and got the tests? And can you talk a bit more about the learning curve process of coming up with ideas that you thought were great and then having to sort of hack away at your baby based on feedback that you were getting from people?
I mean, I would say the first person that would normally test it is one of the other people. Like, someone would have an idea and sort of implement it or something, and then I'd be like, Jordan, what do you think? And he'd be like, this is unplayable garbage.
That's cool. It was just, I would show up and they would have come up with these ridiculously hard levels and be like, is this difficult? I'd be like, yes. And they're like, no, you're wrong. It's the right amount of difficulty. It's perfect. You're wrong.
Jordan, your subjective experience is incorrect.
Yeah, redact it, please.
Yeah, and so like first it would be like Matt and I are like a little bit more of the like, I mean, we just probably, because he's designing it and I'm programming it, we're the ones that like had the most hands-on contact with it, with like the actual playing it. And so the first litmus test was like, if I'm designing a level or a mechanic or whatever, it's like, Matt, can you deal with this, or do you think it's crazy garbage? And then if like Matt can deal with it, and it's like, Jordan, how do you feel about this? And like Jordan is like, yeah, this is good. And it's like, okay, this might be fit for mass consumption. And then I have a couple roommates who got like pretty into it, and I'd be like, Kyle or Nick, what do you think about this? And then watch them like either furrow their brow and get angrier and angrier, and they're like, I don't want to play anymore. Or succeed and like have a good time. Or the flip side is sometimes someone just breezes through something and they're like, I feel nothing. It's too easy. Like, oh no, the babies have won us over. That's what we refer to everyone as that thinks it's hardest. Everyone is the babies.
Yeah.
So we're in a constant tension with just the right amount of difficulty, I guess. And then from there, kind of like Matt also would get a girlfriend Dar to play a fair bit, and she was like on the other end of the spectrum with people that don't play these games. And so she was kind of like, it's like, how far can we like push this for like someone that really just doesn't play very many games, especially not games like this? I imagine Paige is actually, I think I saw wandering around back there somewhere. She's in a similar boat where it's this is like, we've got some other people that are like, they're like, we will support you in making this thing that we don't love. It's like not our thing. Because then you sort of see like the end of the spectrum. It's like, if someone that's like, this is not their thing, plays it. You can sort of like get a sense of
Well, I was
the chat.
going to say, I imagine that's probably valuable feedback, right? Like if you can hook somebody with it who normally doesn't play this kind of stuff, then you know you're definitely on the right track.
Yeah. And then we also had lots of people like through GDX and that crowd, and through just like the Game Camp people and all these different sort of groups. We would just sort of send out keys, and lots of friends and family, and just be like, here's some keys. And then once we had kind of gotten through all of the like in-person feedback, I also had analytics built into it so that we get graphs of like how many times are people dying on each level, and then heat maps of like, okay, where are they dying in those levels? And so once we sort of like filtered it down, we're like, okay, we've sanity checked this thing against like the people in our immediate vicinity. Then we could push it on an update and try and get some new testers and be like, play the game, have fun. And then sort of like be appalled as I see these like horrible spikes in the difficulty curve. Then we would like hold up and be like, okay, try again. Oh God. Like we put them in a better order. We moved off the edges, made it easier. Like, can you play it now? And so I would say that, like, yeah, it's the game, I would say, is very much the product of just, like, iteration and polishing and fixing and twiddling and iteration, and it's just, like, I don't know, every part of it was sort of like, we'll just polish this until we really don't want to anymore.
So now that it's been released, do you still have parts of the game that even though it's been released, you're like, oh man, there's just this one, I just wish we could. Do you have any moments or parts of the game like that you still think about that, like, what if we went back and did this in future releases or whatever?
I mean, from my perspective, I'm tired of it and I don't want to work on it. Especially, like, the last few months have been, like, implementing, like, iOS achievements, Android achievements, Steam achievements, just, like, sort of like the worst, like,
all the nitpicky stuff,
garbagey, like, not fun programming. It's just, like, it's not enjoyable, and it takes a lot of work, and it's frustrating, and things don't work, and you don't understand why. So I'm just kind of, I'm at the point where I'm like, the game's perfect. I'm never touching it again. But realistically speaking, you know, there's a few levels where I'm like, this level's a little bit dumb. I don't know. Like, it made it in because it was better than everything else that could have made it in, and we had a quota, and it's in there. With that being said, you know, I am quite happy to say that that's not very many of them. Like, I feel like there's maybe like 3 levels in the game where I look at it and say, this level is a little bit stupid. And then, like, you know, even one of those levels sort of ended up having, like, a funny consequence about how you play it. There's a level where it's like, it's sort of a dumb level, but it just happened that you could just only hold the shoot button and then not have to do anything at all. You just hold the shoot button. And it's like, if you just try and play the level straight-facedly, it's sort of like, this is hard and frustrating. But if you just hold the shoot button, it just sort of, like, the timing all works out and you win.
Wait, which level is that?
Well, that is insane. And so it was kind of like, you know, I would say that's the worst level in the game. But then it had this hilarious, like, joke that we were able to put a hidden achievement in for. And so there we go. Everything's good. No one look under the curtain. It's finished.
It's all okay.
I don't know, Jordan, do you have any last remorses? I don't think you should, but...
No, I think you pretty much spoke for the group with, like, yeah, no, it's perfect. It's as good as it's ever going to be. I think I'm done, yeah. And I think Matt would probably say the same thing. No, there's little things I can see changing, but yeah.
There's always going to be something, right? Like, you guys you want to fix. But overall, like, just having that out there in the world now, how does that feel to you guys as developers, actually having something that you guys have released into for everybody out there to play?
Send it out into the wild. It's free now.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite part about it, is just getting to see what people have to say about it and see people tweet about it and writing reviews on Steam and stuff. People have been really, really nice on there, so that's been super fun.
Yeah. I would say it's the same kind of thing for me. It's just like, I think there was even, like, some guy, like, emailed us.
Yep.
Like, Jordan's account, and he's just like, I really like this game, and I hope more people find out about it. It's just like, that's nice. It, like, warms the
I
heart.
appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah.
Some person took some time out of their day to, like, send us an email. Or, like, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of cool to, like, that we got enough, like, reviews, and they're good, and we got Metacritic score now, and that's kind of like, that's a neat thing. Like, so we're just sort of like, it's kind of cool to, or, you know, we've seen some, like, streamers play it, and it's a little bit surreal, because it's like, here's this thing that I can't even look at it and understand what it is anymore, because it's just like, it's been so much of my time for so long that, like, I'm just like, people are like, oh, it looks great. And I'm like, no, it's stupid. It's terrible.
When you say a word too many times in a row, and it loses all meaning.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah. It's just like, we've had our eyes, like, right up to the page for so long, and time to be able to step back and look at it and watch people, like, enjoy it has been quite nice.
That's awesome. So, without spoiling anything for anybody, like, what is sort of the story or premise behind the Run Gun Jump Gun?
Oh man, it's how to describe it. It's basically Mad Max in space. So there's, like, a solar system, and everything is going terribly. The sun is going to explode and take everybody out with it, and it takes place kind of right before that happens. So you're just this guy that shows up while everyone is losing their minds because, the sun's about to blow up. And you just kind of run through the whole thing trying to collect points and not get in anybody's way.
Nice.
Pretty
Awesome.
much it, yeah.
So how long did it take you guys to like actually put this whole thing together, like in total?
Oh, man. Like a year and a half?
Sounds about right.
That's about right, yeah. I think it's funny because like Logan was saying, they showed up, they presented the game to me a year and a half ago as like, oh, we've been working on this for a couple weeks. It's like a goodbye gift. Do you want to work on it for like a month to like just kick it out the door? It'll be done in no time. And then it was like a year and a half later and we'd incorporated a company. It was like, oh, that didn't go at all according to plan.
This is exactly what we wanted to be doing. When we first started this thing that we thought was just going to be someone's face or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That's
it's
awesome.
Funny how, like, it was every like 6 months or so. Like, okay, so after 6 months, we're like, we got to be like 3 months out. And then it'd be like 3 months later, it's like, okay, now we're 3 months out. And I think we were 3 months out for like a year.
Yeah.
Like,
most of production, we were 3 months away from being done production.
yeah.
And we were only right 3 months ago.
So what kind of advice can you give to other people who are, maybe aspiring to create their own game?
I would say, like, for me, the number one thing is, like, keep your scope small. Because, like, our scope's pretty small. It's like, we sort of, like, constantly we're just like, okay, no, we can't do all of that. Cut that out. Like, chop this away, chop that away. Like, tried to keep the core of the game really small, and it still took forever. And part of that is just because we were, like, a bit perfectionist about it, but it's important because, like, with a difficult game like this, if you don't, like, make sure it's really tight, it won't be playable, and people will give up and they'll hate you. Actually, well, it's worse. I want them to hate me. They'll be into it. They'll just be apathetic. I'm like, yeah, it was kind of whatever. It was too hard, and then I stopped. I want them to be on the cusp of stopping for the entire time and, like, go crazy. But,
And then you look at them, it's only 2 controls. You just push down and over. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing to it.
Yeah, and in spite of being quite small, like, I mean, part of it is that we hadn't released a commercial game before. So a lot of what we were doing is, like, redoing things 5 times till we got them right. But I think that, like, if I'm giving advice to someone about making their first game, then that will apply to them as well. So it's kind of like, make sure that you don't bite off more than you can chew. Because I feel like everyone I talk to that's sort of getting into games, they're like, and we'll have, like, all these enemy types and classes and, like, but, like, whoa. Like, there's no way. There's no way you will. You won't be able to test all of that. Like, you don't even know if it works. You have to make it small.
That being
So
said,
is that sort of if that's like your whole like thing, like, because just the whole crew is 3 guys for you guys?
Mhm.
Is that correct? So I mean, you really couldn't create an RPG or something like that. That'd be insane.
No. But that's what people will want to do. They'll be like, oh, it's just me so far, and I've got, like, my MMORPG planned out, and I expect it'll be done the next year or so. And that's the thing. Like, I think that's another indicator is, like, we thought we were 3 months out. Like, if you think you're like a year out, it's just, there's no way. There's infinite timeline. You'll never finish. Like,
So just keep your scope a little bit more reasonable.
oh,
Jordan, you had something to add, though, to that, Jordan?
I was going to say our next game is actually going to be an MMORPG. It's going to be huge. It's going to be massive, bigger than WoW.
Bigger, yeah. But just go for the stars, right?
Yeah, well, there's 3 of us, so we can split the workload. So.
Oh yeah, it should be totally fine. Should be out in another 20 years or so.
Oh yeah, no. Well, we won't finish it in our lifetime. We're gonna hand it off to our children and their children's children. Yeah.
it's kind of like a family planning exercise.
Willed to people.
Yeah.
Just by that time they'll have to re-update the engine. And
Yep. It's gonna be a whole thing. It's an inheritance and a curse. That's theirs to deal with. So.
If the zombie apocalypse hasn't happened first.
Oh, it will. Oh, it will. They'll just
So,
grind
anyways,
right
do you
through it.
guys have plans for another game at all?
Yeah, I think we
Yeah,
want to
now
make
that you
something
are
else.
officially incorporated and you've gone down the road of becoming the official company, and now that that's all in place, what is the next crazy napkin idea?
There's a lot of ideas floating around right now. I think there's been talk of a very large library. There's been talk about a arena blood sport first-person shooter. It's been a lot of talk, but I think right now Logan is still just kind of finishing up the last little bit of Run Gun Jump Gun, just trying to get the mobile out the door.
How long can we wait for that one to come out?
For Run Gun on mobile?
Yeah.
Soon. I don't know. I don't know the exact date.
3 months? 3 months, right?
3 months.
It's 3
Yeah,
months
3
away.
months.
My iTunes Connect thing and our latest build with all of the bugs that we know about fixed is approved.
Ooh.
So theoretically, it could be tomorrow. It won't be because we're gonna try and work out stuff with climate, with PR and blah 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 and responsible grown-ups stuff.
This is good news.
But
Because you're
essentially,
in a corporation, right? You're the official company. You can't just do things willy-nilly.
No, we have to get approval from PR to do anything, even this conversation.
So yeah, so soonish, right? It's awesome.
I would quite like
Let us know.
Definitely.
So what are some of the most proudest, what are the, because this is like your baby, what is some of the most proudest things that you have about this game in general?
Along the way, milestones that you hit,
Yeah.
that you were like, yes.
Oh, man.
Or that thing in there is there just because I want it there?
I don't know. That's a good question. That's a tough one. We got to take it to Gamescom in Germany. That was pretty cool.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was
How was that?
Nice.
That was good. That was a fun time. Logan was in the mountains, so he couldn't come. He was climbing.
Yeah.
That was actually really, really awesome. Because we'd be sitting in a booth in a conference hall all day doing the same interview 200 times, and we would message Logan. He'd be like, I can't talk right now. I'm in the mountains. That's a really good answer. It's a really, really good answer. No, it was really fun. It was a lot of fun. I don't know if there's anything buried in the game that I left in there as a secret. I can't think of anything. I'm still really annoyed that my face isn't in the game. That's my nitpickiest thing, actually.
Because, I mean, that's what it started off as, right?
Mm-hmm. I was supposed to be in the game, and then they took me out. And I still take it personally, I think.
Keeps on inside.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's funny because I feel roughly equally good about almost all of it. It's I still I like all the worlds. I think the thing I'm happiest with is that in the the worlds 2 and 3, after you've learned the basics, is that we're able to come up with an interesting mechanic alteration for each world that sort of fits with a kind of a theme of manipulating how the controls work and how space works, but at the same time is sort of they're each unique, and they give sort of I think the best way to put it is people some people just play it and they're it broke my brain and I had to refigure out how to be human again to deal with the new mechanics, and but it's just nice because it's sort of we get to reintroduce this moment of okay, I gotta learn how to control this really simple set of controls by modifying the controls, not modifying the controls, but modifying space in such a way that you have to relearn some of the muscle memory. And I don't know, that just that ended up landing really well. It sort of gives the game a lot more depth. In that you essentially need to incorporate some new muscle memory learning as well as learning how to deal with new enemies in each of the second and third worlds. And it would have been there were plenty of times where I was just sitting and looking at the wall and being what can we do to make this third world be like the second world but better, different? And it would have been easy to just be it's just back to normal, and then we did this hard. So it was satisfying to come up with something that worked.
So how many worlds are there in total for the game?
There are 3 worlds.
3.
3? Awesome. Yeah. anything else that you'd like to add there, Chels?
Well, I mean, I always love hearing where the inspiration comes from, but part and parcel with that is your current day-to-day lives, what you're currently playing, what's really grabbing your attention and your interest, because so much inspiration comes from the input that's coming to you on a daily basis. So I always love to hear about that, what you're really hooked on right now.
Oh. I have a few things.
Mm-hmm.
One, like I said, I've been playing through Axiom Verge.
Yes.
I'm quite liking it. It's good. I never played the original Metroid games, and so people are like, yeah, it's like a Metroidvania, and I'd be like, I don't know what that means. So it's been nice to like finally like play a Metroidvania that is like, as far as I can tell, it's just like if they made a new Metroid with all its own like awesome story and like it's just been great. The game design's really good. I feel like I'm always like learning things, and I've just been really enjoying. I'll be like, oh yes, right, and then this weapon interacts with this way and this thing. And it's like, and I can make that go across like that, and now I can swing across it, and it's very nice, and that all the mechanics work together really nicely, and I don't feel like I'm getting like overwhelmed at any point, and it's just like it's been a great experience so far. And then the other game that I always recommend when anyone ever asks me what I think is good right now is Steven's Sausage Roll, and people are always like, what? And
Tell us all about that one, please.
that's like a Sogobon kind of thing, basically, but it's like you're rolling sausages. And you look at it, and you're like a little dude with his little fork, and you have to roll the sausages, and then you got to roll them onto the grills, but then if you roll it a single, like there's two sides to every sausage, and if you roll it onto like one side twice, you burn it. And so the goal is just to cook all of these sausages. And it's kind of like this dumb little idea, but then you're starting to be like, how can I get my sausages in phase? And like, how can I like sort of use this sausage to lift this sausage onto this platform so that I can get it on my head so I can turn the sausage so then I can like dump it off, and then like now I've got the sausage going the other way so it works with like this sausage. And it's just like, I think it's the perfect puzzle game. Like, you like puzzle games? It's perfect. It's the best puzzle game I've ever played.
That sounds amazing.
I hope lots of people will check it out because it's I don't know, with the caveat that like you must like puzzle games, but it's
So as we live in Edmonton, and a lot of this show is based around the city, what can you tell us about some of the community that's in this city for game development?
We worked out of Startup Edmonton for, I think, pretty much the entire game. I think for the first couple of months, we worked out of the Edmonton library. But yeah, we've been at Startup for most of development, and that community is really awesome. We've met a lot of people through that. They've been pretty fantastic. I feel like that's a big part of the people that we get to hang out with. We also do, I have not been able to go to the last couple, but we do like a weekly meetup on Friday nights at Remedy. Just a lot of like local game devs and people that want to work on games kind of come down and drink beer and hang out. So that's been pretty awesome. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Yeah.
On Friday there was like the main game camp meetup as well, and that was it was actually like some of the like original BioWare guys talking about like Shattered Steel and releasing that because it was their 20th anniversary. That was fun.
Nice.
So I try and get out to like the main game camp things, and then there's all the GDX people too, who have, they put on the GDX. I think they're basically like the video game art and design club at University of Alberta, and so they've been like great people to talk to and work with and that kind of thing. And then there's also like kind of somewhat tangentially, there's like Mike Bowling teaches the board game design class at the U of A. Actually, can't go when people call it the board game design class. It's the practical game design or something, but whatever. It's the board game. And so I've kind of had the opportunity to like come in and talk at that as well. That's how we met Katie, or no, not Katie, Kelsey, thinking of different people. And we actually, Matt and I helped out on this project recently, which is it's called Game Start, and it's at Latitude 53 right now. It's an installation of various games. So we built like a VR out-of-body experience simulator thing.
Nice.
Cool.
So there's kind of like that whole, and Matt knows Kelsey from design school and stuff too. So, you know, it's funny. There's kind of like a lot of like little bits of community kind of floating around, and they're starting to learn more and more about each other. And I feel like the community in Edmonton is slowly getting sort of more established and stronger, which is nice to see. And then there's all the extra life stuff too, which like is sort of like on the fringes for me, because like it's more of a gamers than a players thing, or than a developer thing. Sorry, but they kind of, I don't know, they've been in the orbit as well, and it's sort of, we're all on the games side of things. So.
Well, and as we're finding, the longer we do this show, the great thing about the community at large is how interconnected and almost 6 degrees of separation that it's becoming, which is really great, that this little pocket of nerddom that used to be so isolated is now sort of interconnected to this little pocket, is connected to this little pocket. And so to see that interconnectedness start to grow is really great the longer we do this show. That's something that we really like to see. Yeah,
totally.
Yeah, and it seems like that's sort of the thing that's happening more and more as we continue on. It's pretty fantastic. We've just made some amazing contacts over the last, I don't know how many years from doing this show, and I can't remember who was it that suggested that we talk to you guys in the first place. But I was at just some sort of an event for the community, and they're like, I think it was GDX actually. I was talking to some of the actual people who run GDX, and they're like, yeah, you need to talk to these guys because they're amazing. And yeah, I looked you guys up, and I'm like, wow, I was just blown away by the style of the game, from the music. Which, by the way, who did the music? Was that you? Jordan?
Yeah, that was me.
The music is absolutely fantastic.
Oh, thanks, dude.
And if I suggest to anybody who's like looking to maybe perhaps go buy this game on Steam, you guys have like the bundle with the soundtrack as well, correct?
You mean the deluxe edition? The deluxe, yeah, no, it comes with the soundtrack.
Upsell it, do it.
Upsell. It's only 99 more cents. It's so worth it. No, there's Matt, the artist on the project, did a bunch of really cool wallpapers, and there's lots of good stuff in there, including the soundtrack. So
and a bunch of extra soundtrack. The Cutting Room Floor stuff.
Cutting Room Floor. All the like terrible things I came up with along the way got thrown into a folder.
And it's just being mocked.
And you just packaged it all in there in the deluxe edition.
In the deluxe edition.
That is awesome.
So yeah, speaking of, if people want to find the game, if people want to find you guys, now that you're all officially official and whatnot, where can people go on the interwebs to find the game, to find you guys, all of that good stuff?
Well, if they're looking to find the game, they should go to RunGunJumpGun.com. Just the full name. That's RunGunJumpGun.com. There's a really cool like GIF comic that the artist did. Tells the backstory of the game, trailers, where you can buy it, all that stuff. And they can follow us on Twitter at Team33Games.
Awesome. Sorry, hang on. Yeah, that's all we have for this edition of the Nerdcast. We do have a few,
upcoming
events that are happening.
What's on
in
the
next
calendar,
little while.
man?
Oh my goodness, we got Game-A-Lot. Sorry, Game-A-Lot is happening. It's going to be happening on October 21st, which is very, very soon. Which is like this weekend, actually.
It's Friday.
Yes, Friday. It's starting on Friday, and it'll be going for the whole weekend, I believe. And that will be at the Kinsman Banquet Center in St. Albert. And it's just like a little board game convention. It is going to be a lot of fun. Sign up for that. Then we got a Teach Me series, Fury of Dracula. That's going to be at Tabletop Cafe. We love the Tabletop Cafe. That's a lot of fun. I don't know if you guys have ever been to like the Tabletop Cafe or any of the other board game cafes in Edmonton. They're absolutely fun. I love board games, period. And playing board games. This is a great way to like actually learn a new game.
Learn a new game.
Fury of Dracula is a great game, so go and try that. They have that coming up. And then we have Extra Life. And that's the big gaming gaming event that's going to be down in West Edmonton Mall, raising money for the Edmonton Stollery. And you guys anybody can just donate to that. You can go to our website, which, by the way, if you go to our website, northernnerdnetwork.com, you guys can follow the links and donate to Extra Life that way. You can donate straight to the Stollery that way and support the Stollery. I don't personally ever ask anybody for money for this channel or for what we do here on the Northern Nerd Network. I do not believe that that's a thing that we should be doing. I don't want money. I don't want charity from people, but I want to just encourage people to really
support the Stollery.
It's a
great cause. Yeah.
Yeah. Once again, I will never ask people for money for this. What I do, I don't ask people for money for that. I do want to ask people for money for the Stollery. It is never going to me. We'll never touch your money. Don't want it. I do this because I have a passion for the community. I have a passion to see it grow, connect it, that whole thing. And I'll do that for free. I'll do that all day, any day for free. And I get to meet so many amazing people like you guys. Like, this is absolutely fantastic. I have just had such a great time tonight. I get to talk to so many amazing people. We had Madsoft. I don't know if you've ever met the guy from Madsoft.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. He's part of our network, and he's just absolutely fantastic. He's such a great guy. We've talked to him quite a few times. He's got that My Dinosaur game he's been working on, and it's a lot of fun. It looks really cool.
Yeah, totally.
So that's pretty awesome. And then continuing on with our
calendar
of events that we got going on. We have Edmonton Collecticon that's coming up on November 6th. And that will be at I don't know. It says Edmonton Collecticon for the details. There's an address. Go to it's in the MacArthur Industrial Area in St. Albert, right on St. Albert Trail there. Just look up Edmonton Collecticon. You'll find all that information, or go onto our website and you'll find our calendar of events. And then Dark Matters is happening again at the TELUS World of Science. That is like the night for adults. They close it out, then they open it up at 7 o'clock to 10 o'clock. And that is always a good time for people to go and check that out. This one is Science is Served on the Rocks, and the adults come and play. I'm not sure. There's a live DJ, and there's an open bar. There's a bar there. Anyways, and I would like to talk a little bit about because we're talking about gaming, right? And all this other fancy stuff. And you guys are having a retro game. So there's a classic video game championship that's happening on November 26th. And that is always a great time. It's happening down at Nate, and it's a lot of fun. Bunch of people bring out their TVs and you play retro games for the day. It's pretty awesome. So that's pretty much it. That's all we have for our events. I want to thank Jordan and Logan once again for coming on to the show. You guys have been fantastic.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you for having us.
And that is it. That's all. I want to thank everybody out there for watching or listening to this episode of the Nerdcast. And I'll see you guys on the next one.